right, hello everyone. Please rise for the procession of the graduates. Good evening and welcome to the 2024 Asian Pacific Islander and South Asian graduation ceremony. A gathering that holds profound significance in celebrating the cultural heritage and academic excellence within our community. My name is Alina Noel Alegre, coordinator for the VCU Transform Living Learning Program, and this is my third year serving on the committee for the APISA Cultural Achievement Ceremony. I have the privilege of being the master of ceremony for tonight's momentous occasion and will be guiding us throughout the events of the evening. At this time, I'd like to welcome to the stage Dr. Miriam Kadeba, Director of the Office of Multicultural Student Affairs, for our ceremony's welcome address.
I love y'all for real. Greetings, friends, family, faculty, staff, and all guests joining us in person and via live stream. And for the reason we are gathered here today, allow me to extend heartfelt greetings to our 2024 VCU graduates. I share these greetings as we do in my home country of Côte d'Ivoire by saying Akwaba, which means welcome. Akwaba, everyone. My name is Dr. Miriam Kadeba, and I serve as the Director of the Office of Multicultural Student Affairs, OMSA for short. On behalf of the entire team, welcome and thank you for joining us for this celebration. What a time it's been. I often call this time of the year gratitude season or love fest, using them interchangeably as my own reminder to center these two things amidst the stress of wrapping up a semester. I don't doubt that every single one of you graduate has had a meaningful journey to get to this moment. It's very likely that during your academic journey, you've encountered some successes and dealt with some twists and turns while navigating uncertainty and doubt. As we know, many seemingly contradictory things can be true at the same time. Maybe some of you had a hard time imagining what graduation day would look like. And low-key, you might still be caught up in finals, so your graduation-related emotions may range from feeling like all of this is anticlimactic to feeling relief and elation, and honestly, every feeling in between. Yet here you are, surrounded by your peoples, and looking mighty fine, I would add. So please know whatever you experience today and these next few weeks are all warranted. And I hope you make some space for yourself at some point, it doesn't have to be immediately, to acknowledge your accomplishments and your journey. In a culture that can be so outcome-driven, we may not keep focused on the tiny moments that amount to these big moments. However, it's important to give thanks for those tiny moments. When I was in college and a wannabe golfer, emphasis on the wannabe, Michelle Wee, who is a Korean-American professional golfer, was so iconic to me. Her swing was everything. And I even had a cut-up picture of her from a magazine on my walls. Like, I was really obsessed with her. That was like 20 years ago. Anyway, I recently read an article where she discussed her return to golfing professionally after becoming a mom. She said the following: when you're going through a low point, that's not permanent. And when you're going through highs, unfortunately, that's not permanent either. You just have to learn to ride the waves and be grateful for every moment. I think this quote exemplifies what I hope to share with you today. Therefore, I wish you many moments of sacred pause to practice gratitude for the tiny moments. Earlier, I mentioned that everyone has been traveling their own path to get here. During that journey, and particularly at VCU, I hope you felt connected to others and experienced a sense of belonging. I say hope because I recognize it's not a given. Whether at the Counseling Center or at OMSA, I've interacted with students from the Asian diaspora who describe mental health concerns often fueled by feeling isolated on campus, yearning for spaces to eat their food, speak their languages, and just be with their friends and community, all of which are very basic human needs. During a time when many students across the nation and on this very campus are speaking truth to power, advocating for themselves, their peers, and justice in the world, that sense of belonging and connectedness to the larger community might waver, understandably so. Yet students' voices and advocacy are important agents of change. This ceremony today is proof of that. We are celebrating this graduation ceremony's 3rd anniversary today, a milestone worth acknowledging. Asian students on campus advocated for this space, and here we are 3 years later celebrating you. As you acknowledge what this moment means for you, send some love to the students who made this happen. Whether or not you connected with OMSA during your VCU journey, or this is the first time interacting with our office, we are honored to serve you. You, VCU graduates, remain my favorite part of my job. So this evening, may you feel celebrated and honored for your tremendous academic and educational accomplishments. I wish you much peace, love, and success in your future endeavors, however you define that. Congratulations, class of 2024 VCU graduates. We're oh so proud of you.
All right. I would like to now introduce our student speakers at the same time. Amy Leo and Magna Bobby.
Good evening, students, faculty, family, and friends. My name is Amy Leo, and I am a proud second-generation Filipina American. It is an honor to be one of your student speakers for tonight and to celebrate your achievements in community. This week, I am graduating with my master's in social work. VCU is also where I earned my Bachelor of Science in Psychology with a minor in sociology. In true academic fashion, I would like to begin with some statistics. Last school year, throughout the United States, only 3% of students enrolled in a Master of Social Work program identified as Asian. As for students pursuing a bachelor's degree in social work, this percentage was 1.8%. With there being over 19 million Asian Americans, 3% is simply not enough to serve them all. This was disappointing, but not surprising to find out, considering my own experiences in figuring out my own mental health. For a long time, I thought that there was something wrong with me. I was told that I couldn't be depressed, anxious, or have ADHD. Whatever I was feeling did not compare to the hardships that my parents and family faced growing up in the Philippines and moving to an entirely different country, culture, and language. Of course, I am grateful for all of the sacrifices they have made for me, but our struggles are not mutually exclusive. I think about all of the other Asian kids who felt the same way as me and didn't feel safe to talk about it. Showing this kind of vulnerability was seen as taboo, and that we would bring negative attention to our family for talking about mental health. This leads to perfectionism, self-doubt, people-pleasing, and imposter syndrome, all of which I am still learning to overcome. If any of this resonates with you, I want you to know that I hear you, I see you, everything you are feeling is real, and I am so proud of you. When I started seeing a Filipino therapist, I realized just how life-changing it is to have someone that looks like you, understands your family dynamics and culture, and truly makes you feel validated in who you are as a person. However, my therapist is one of a few. As a part of this 3% of Asian American social work students, I will strive for the representation of mental health professionals who look like and relate to us in our experiences. Representation is important in every profession. It goes beyond our physical and mental health. It goes beyond what we see on the screens and who we see making policies and who is advocating for us and organizing for change. Whether you are an artist, engineer, or are not sure yet, we need to be that representation of our communities and continue to fight for it. Let us be the role models and supporters that we wish we had growing up. In Filipino indigenous psychology, kapwa means togetherness and connects all human beings and unites us regardless of our differing identities. In my 6 years at VCU and in Richmond, I had the opportunity to learn about, support, and be a part of many diverse communities. Finding my community here not only connected me to my partner of 5 years and some of my dearest friends, but also brought me a deeper sense of kapwa. It helped me feel at home while I missed my parents' home-cooked meals and the ever-growing Filipino community in Virginia Beach. Embrace the people and the spaces who make you feel kapwa. Understand that no matter where you go, the diaspora is around you, and you carry your culture and community with you. It's easier said than done, but I want you to trust yourself, lean on your support systems, and find power in rest. I know that all of you will do amazing things in your lives and will continue to champion for diversity, community, and representation. Nay, miss na kita. Lahat ng ginagawa ko ay para sa iyo at tatay. Mahal ko kayo. Happy Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, as well as Mental Health Awareness Month. Congratulations, class of 2024.
Good evening. Couldn't hear you guys. Good evening. Okay, good. Good evening, fellow graduates, parents, loved ones, and faculty. I want to thank OMSA for this opportunity to be the speaker for the Asian Pacific Islander South Asian American Graduation 2024. I am honored to be your speaker for today. I am a first-generation student, South Asian, graduating with a major in psychology. Before giving you my 2 cents, a little bit about me. I was born and brought up in Kuwait, and I was raised there for 17 years. My mother wanted to move here and give us a better life in the US. So she wrote her exams, did all her final certifications, and landed a job here as an RN in Virginia. My family and I moved here in 2018. It seems like not a long time ago, but it's just like yesterday for me. And this is when life took a big turn on me. Navigating a new culture, new people, a new form of lifestyle, a whole new form of identity was hard for me and my parents. My parents were busy figuring out where to live, all the paperwork of moving here, where to get basic Indian food, figuring out how to get a car, because at that time we didn't have a car, and how to get my mom to work because she was the breadwinner at the time. So we need to get her to work. And we cannot afford to lose that job because she worked so hard to move here. Now, when it comes to academics, I started about halfway into 11th grade in 2018 and maybe had about a month to figure out how to apply to colleges. And this was hard. About the SATs, the Common App, recommendation letter, volunteering, all of these things was very new to me, and this was definitely something that I did not know, and then to apply to colleges. With high school, I did have the privilege to be confused for about a year and a half, but with university, the game changed. I was on X Games mode. But in all seriousness, I realized that too late that in order to get into med school, there were a lot more tasks and obligations what I had to do in high school. Understanding the lay of the land after building the foundation as an expat halfway across the globe and having to shift into an immigrant narrative was hard on all of us. We have all been outsiders to an environment at some point in our life, and that was me and my family when I started college. In this day and age, they say your network is your worth. But to start from scratch and not having this so-called network was incredibly humbling. The kicker of it all was that the whole world went into pandemonium. And you guessed it, it was COVID. In 2020, as a freshman, I did not see campus. I did not know anything. I did not know about the CLC, I didn't know about the Writing Center, and all the other resources VCU had provided. I did not hear about Rate My Professor until junior year. That's how crazy it was. And this is what we mean when we talk about the immigrant struggle. First-generation kids in college do not have the privilege to have someone hold your hand and walk you through it all. We have to hold our hands and root for ourselves. But all said and done, I made friends starting junior year, learned a few things, met few people from all walks of life, lost and gained friends, and had lots of drama with friends, boys, girls, and sometimes your parents, right? So, yeah. And then finally, I slowly started to understand how to navigate college. Now, you must be wondering how I navigated college with nothing to start with. First, I joined a pre-professional health club. Then I started volunteering. Then I started a nonprofit and subscribed to a lot of YouTubers and first-generation students on YouTube on how to navigate med school, undergraduate, and all that sort of things. And I made myself aware of the process. First, you get your bachelor's, then medical school, and then another 50 years, and then residency, and the list goes on. Second, I learned how to study. This is key. Everyone knows how to study, but to know the difference between active and passive learning is the key. And this dawned on me too late. Lastly, allotting certain hours for the day for a subject, then practicing those problems, going to SI sessions, which I learned late, tutoring, all these things. These are a couple of things that I realized late that contributed to my success, even though it was late. Amongst all this, I learned time management. This was something I really struggled on. I was told about the Academic Coaching Center, and they gave me the tools to start with. I think we all have the tools to start with. We just need to pick the right tools and by doing exactly that, we can be successful. It can be daunting, but we can be successful. Now that I've come to the end of it, I feel bittersweet about graduation. I desperately wanted college to be over because of the hardships and trials that I had to go through. But ironically, my college experience has taught me to be resilient and push forward. Most of these struggles I know will continue with me and you as you go to graduate school or find a job. Most of these struggles will continue. Let me repeat that. Most of these struggles will continue to follow with you. So the best way to be resilient is to not shy away from asking questions over and over again until you get it right. I have learned to ask around so many times about my process. Personally, this can take time as opposed to already knowing what to do and then beginning to check things off your list. Imagine you are at Main Station, Richmond Main Station, traveling to Penn Station, New York, which will be your final destination. There will be plenty of stations from point A to point B. Each one of these stops symbolizes a milestone in your life that you have achieved. and you've already achieved your first station, which is VCU, and you have achieved that. All of you have achieved that. I just dropped this analogy to remind you that there is a takeaway from each one of these milestones that you have achieved. To all my fellow achievers sitting in front of me today, this was hard. This was hard, you guys, but we made it. We are the class of 2024. We are the class that started with COVID. For any graduates that also started later, we definitely had to go through COVID. We pushed through COVID, and it had nothing on us. We bulldozed our way through stagnancy and the uncertainties of COVID. Each of us sitting here had our own hardships and troubles. I know we have learned from them, and if not, we have more to learn from. Finally, congratulations to everyone who graduated, and remember, there will be a lot of people who are going to undermine you and will root for your failure. And for everyone who wanted to know what I would do if I didn't win, I guess we'll never know. Thank you.
Okay, I have the pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker. Our keynote speaker today will be Senator Ghazala Hashmi. Senator Ghazala Hashmi, PhD, serves in the Virginia General Assembly and represents the 15th Senatorial District, which includes parts of the Richmond City and Chesterfield County. She first ran for office in 2019, defeating a Republican incumbent in a long-held red seat. Her successful campaign secured a one-seat Democratic majority in the Virginia Senate and also secured a Democratic trifecta for the next 2 years. After winning her second term in office in November 2023, Senator Hashmi now serves as the chair of the Senate Education and Health Committee. She also sits on the following Senate committees: Finance and Appropriations, Agriculture, Conservation and Natural Resources, Transportation, and Rules. Senator Hashmi has also been appointed for the past 4 years to numerous boards and commissions. Additionally, she was elected in 2023 to serve as the vice chair for the Education Committee of the Council of State Governments, Southern Region. She is currently serving her second term as vice chair of the Virginia Asian American Pacific Islander Caucus. And prior to her first election in November 2019, Senator Hashmi had a long career in higher education in Virginia. She has authored book chapters, articles, and presented at numerous conferences. Senator Hashmi is the first Muslim American and the first South Asian American to serve in the Virginia Senate. Let's give her a round of applause.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I don't know that I can follow the two wonderful student speakers. You folks pretty much said everything that I was planning to say, but congratulations to all of you. Congratulations especially to the class of 2024. We are so very proud of you. I bring you greetings from the Virginia Asian American Pacific Islander Caucus of the General Assembly. I bring you congratulations from all of us. There are now 8 members in the Virginia Asian American Caucus in the General Assembly. Representation matters, as our student speakers have already shared, and our presence means that in Virginia, we are understanding the richness and the diversity of all of our communities. As an Indian American and as a first-generation immigrant myself, your graduation today is especially meaningful to me, and I'm so delighted and honored to be with you on this momentous occasion. Whatever your individual journeys and your individual experiences have been, I know that sometimes we each have had to navigate in spaces and in places that were not built for us. So I congratulate you on your achievement. I congratulate also your parents and your grandparents and all the extended family who are celebrating either in person or online virtually with you. These are the successes that you have achieved, but that your family has also achieved. And I know that for AAPI families in particular, this is a moment that belongs to our parents and to any elders that you may have accompanying you. We honor the vital role that parents play in our lives. You know, the last 4 years of your academic experiences have been, in so many ways, the most consequential experiences also for our global humanity. Within these past 4 years, you've lived through a worldwide pandemic that has shut down our frenzied global motion, that displaced millions of workers, and that brought the world to a screeching standstill. You've watched this global society re-emerge, changed in so many ways, and you have witnessed social and civil unrest, both right here in Richmond as well as abroad. We are all now confronted with a massive humanitarian crisis and the deaths and displacements of civilians in ongoing assaults in Gaza, in Ukraine, and Sudan. We've also seen the rapid reemergence of artificial intelligence and technologies that my generation could only dream of. And for those of us in the diverse Asian communities, we've also faced either directly or indirectly the rise of anti-Asian hate and the questioning of our own identities. So if we're going to give meaning or purpose to all that we have been through, we have to use this opportunity to rethink our behavior, to chart new pathways for our social structures, for healthcare, for educational institutions, and our economies. Some men see things as they are and ask, why? I dream of things that never were, and ask, why not? That is what Robert Kennedy, brother of President John F. Kennedy, said in the 1960s, a decade that was, like our own times, full of tumult and social unrest, a time that demanded radical change. And oftentimes, we as a society are simply not prepared for radical transformation because it requires us to upend traditional ways of thinking. It's so much easier to simply accept things as they are. This quote from Robert Kennedy reminds me of a conversation that I once had with a VCU student who had come from Ghana and was studying here. And we spoke just a few weeks before his graduation. And we were sitting outside the Panera there on Grace Street. And I asked him, what was the best part of his educational experience here at VCU? And he said, it's changed the way my mind works. It's changed the way my mind works. And I thought that was so interesting. He didn't say, I think differently now, or that I've changed my mind. He said, my mind works differently now. And his comment made me think about the expanding research around the science of neuroplasticity. I'm sure that some of you have been looking closely into this area of science because it impacts so many areas of our lives, whether it's the field of early childhood education, healthcare services for aging populations, or the science of human adaptation to new technologies. But what fascinates me about neuroplasticity is our expanded understanding of how we approach the ways in which individual minds work, and the potential that this new awareness has for education, for technology, business, and for radical social transformation. So when we think about neuroplasticity of our individual minds, we're basically saying that experiences such as participating in the transformative educational opportunities that you have all been engaged in, that these experiences actually reshape our brains and they alter the ways in which we connect with and interact with the world around us. So with this awareness of how our brains work, we can realign ourselves fundamentally in important ways. And what I've read about this area of research, there are 4 steps that are involved in reshaping. We have to relabel, reattribute, refocus, and revalue. These are the 4 steps that can transform not just our perceptions of reality, but more significantly, they reshape our fundamental values, our emotional responses, and what we might label our innate ideology. We often think that once it is conditioned, an adult mind doesn't have enough elasticity to reconfigure itself, but new research shows that it actually can. So the first step is to relabel, to acknowledge that our brain is sending us an unuseful message, and to ascribe a new label to that thought. And then we move to the second step and to reattribute and answer the question, why do I keep thinking and reacting in the way that I do? And if the answer is that I'm just stuck in a prescribed way of thinking, then we have ways to unstick ourselves. And this leads to the third step where the real work begins, and it's in the third step that we actually begin to change behavior by replacing what it is that we do and come up with new responses and new actions. So emerging research is showing us that this critical third step actually changes brain chemistry. We create new patterns of innate behavior. We create a new mind. How amazing is that, to create a new mind, much in the way that this student from Ghana had described to me. So the last step is to revalue on a very fundamental level. We fully acknowledge and accept a new set of values. So consider what might happen if we apply this research not just to individuals, but to entire societies, to communities of people. When we understand that our government structures and our social and economic structures function as a collective mind, and that collective mind is usually derived from systems that support, promote, and keep in power certain ideologies, then we realize that we can actually relabel, reattribute, replace, and then revalue our social systems. And I believe that these are a critical part of the challenges that are facing your generation. You and your generation have been through an incredible journey these past 4 years, and your generation has rightly been asking us all to revalue our social priorities in areas of social justice, economic fairness, environmental safeguards, and our collective future. You will be rewiring the consciousness of the new world that is still emerging before us this century. It is a world that is more compressed by the connections of our rapid communications. It's a world that's more accessible because of our mobility, and it's a world that is much more interconnected because of our own cross-cultural relationships. Each of you has made an extraordinary and heroic journey over the past 4 years. You've met incredible mentors, you've survived personal challenges, you've identified tools and developed skills that will help you succeed in your next steps. You're leaving college now somehow transformed in very important ways. And I ask you to consider today, what is it that you're carrying with you as you go forward? What will you share with the new companions you make on your next journey? How will you help to rewire our collective consciousness so that we serve our shared humanity better than we have ever done before? That is the challenge in front of you, and I know you will carry it and do well in your next steps. Congratulations, class of 2024.
Thank you, Senator. All right, the moment you've been waiting for. Can I get some hype? Can I get some cheers? Woo! All right. Graduates, you will be lined up on the right side of the stage. This side? Oh, sorry, the left side of the stage, my right. When your name is called, you will step onto the stage with your donor. You will receive the apisa stole, and you will be donned by either your donor or senator. You will then get your photo taken on the stage, walk off here to my left, your right, and the volunteers will guide you and your donors back to your seats. Volunteers, can you please raise your hands and wave? They're here somewhere. There you go. They will be guiding you through this process, so please look out for them if you get lost or if you need direction. And I will now invite Reba Agarwal to, to read the names of our graduates.
Hi, everyone. All right. Amy Leo. Meghna Bobby. Oh, I'm so sorry. Amala Thomas. Is it too soft? Shanta Ali. Faith Arada. Kiera Brown. Brittany Chow. Samira Chutkai. Elia Faith Crianza. Rina Desai. Amy Doe. Darlene Doe. Sarah Doe. Destiny 4. Kalina Hayes. Nabanita Ifrit. Uday Illa. Widad Khan. Nazima Ma. Neha Madakisera. Kiran Mahmood. Nemia Miguel Veloso. Rachel Nguyen. Hui Win. Beck O. Ayusha Pandey, Malena Parawan, Desara Pereira, Nishat Rafa, Raida Rehman, Glyzel Ruliamas, Mahila Sifat, Ness Smock, Pranaya Shripati, Nikki Tosh, An Turong, Jithan Unni, Varsha Vasudevan, Han Vu, Christina Yu, Tumayat Zayer.
We're good. Okay. Let's hear it again for our graduates. Right. Now, before our closing remarks, we also want to re-invite Senator Hashmi back to the stage for an honorary stole. Thank you. All right. And now for our closing remarks, I'd like to welcome Amala Thomas to the stage. Let's give her
Okay. Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing tonight? Okay. Good energy, good energy. So for those who do not know me, my name is Amala Thomas, or Amalu, as those in the Molu community know me. I am standing here today as a proud first-generation college student. Do we have any other first gens in the house? Awesome, awesome. So for background, I'm about to graduate with my master's in social work with a concentration in administration, planning, and policy practice. Thank you. During my graduate career, I was a resident assistant for 2 years. Yes, go housing! Intern for the RAM Pantry for an academic year, graduate assistant for the undergraduate research opportunities program for an academic year. Yes. And also a graduate assistant for the Office of Multicultural Student Affairs, also known as OMSA, for the past 2 years, during which I planned and implemented 13 university-wide programs. Some centered around my Indian American identity and women identity, such as Chai and Collage, Pastor the Pen in collaboration with Paula G, and Being My Own Boss, featuring Nafis, co-founder of Gold Lion. Thank you, thank you. I have established amazing connections within OMSA, and due to the nature of my close relationship with OMSA, I was voluntold to do closing remarks. Thank you for laughing. I had that in my notes that hopefully people would laugh. In the same way OMSA voluntold me to say closing remarks, I voluntold my friends, family, and past supervisors to attend my cultural achievement ceremony. So thank you. One of the reasons why I asked my support systems to attend my CAC was because of the convenience of it taking place after work, not on a Friday morning at 11 a.m. like my social work ceremony will be. Another reason why is because of my past experiences working during the CAC. I found so much beauty when attending and seeing students of different majors come together to share their heritage. I reflect on live streams of the ceremony and how families and friends from all over the world would tune in to watch their loved one graduate. It was because of the closeness and intimacy of this ceremony and knowing the incredibly hard work OMSA and our volunteers put into creating a ceremony like this that led me to tell everyone to attend this ceremony. So big round of applause for OMSA. Yeah. I told everyone to attend this ceremony simply by sending a Google Calendar invite with the expectation that everyone would come. Now, for those who have access to my Google Calendar know, my schedule these past 2 years was a bit rough. Working between multiple positions, 30+ hours a week, along with being on duty as an RA most nights and being a full-time student is not something I had initially envisioned for myself. However, I have to give credit when due. Thank you to my current and past supervisors. Every single one of you has shaped me into the person I am today, and the flexibility of working with my schedule, not against it, is the reason why I survived grad school. So I'm gonna clap for you guys. You have held space for me to be my authentic self, and with that, understand my competing priorities without making me feel overwhelmed. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my friends who have since undergrad have been working full-time and as a result covered meals for me, thank you, even when I've insisted I can pay for myself, or have driven me since I did not have a car since undergrad. So thank you for making sure I get home safe. Yes. There's a lot of you guys here who've done that. Thank you. Lastly, I must thank my Amma and Appa, which translates to mom and dad, for providing me with the opportunities that I have today. And even though I am sure it was not easy raising 2 kids in a new country without the support of direct family members, it's a great thing we found other Malus to be in community with, and whom now we can call our family. And a shout out to my younger brother Kitchu for being my Uber driver and tech support these past few years. For real, guys, I don't know anything about technology. After my first conversation with Jair about closing remarks and what it entails, I kept reflecting to myself, what is the message I want others who have experiences similar to mine to hear from me? And during my reflection, my mind kept wandering, and I kept thinking about the folks I met during grad school and the security and safety I felt amongst coworkers, supervisors, classmates, and friends, and how I was able to create my own home away from home. And not to quote the National Association of Social Work Code of Ethics, but really truly the importance of human relationships. Because I reflect on my parents building a community in the States and how that has been such an important foundation for me growing up. I reflect on how I was able to create beautiful memories within my RA, classroom, and OMSA community. So I hope the message you receive from me is to continue to build community and relationships where you go. It's going to be a scary time for us transitioning from post-grad, whether we plan to work full-time, take a break, or go back to school. So that being said, during this transition, don't be afraid to lean on others for support. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't hesitate to reach out to old mentors. Allow yourself to be supported the way you support others. Thank you, OMSA, for the opportunity to speak and for giving me the skill sets I now have to confidently go out into the real world. I wish you all the best as we continue on our journey.
Now, last but certainly not least, Brianna Bolden, the program specialist within inclusive engagement and philanthropy in our alumni relations office, will come to the stage to speak to you all as alumni. There she is. Oh, thank you.
Okay, so no part of me wants to follow that up. But thank you all for allowing me to be here today. I'm so excited to just come up and literally stand in the way between you and your reception. So I'm going to keep it brief. As a celebration of this monumentous occasion, which is the COVID students finally graduating, they said you couldn't and you did. I just want to let you all know this reception that you all are about to enter is sponsored by the Office of Inclusive Engagement and Philanthropy and the Office of Alumni Relations, of course in partnership with OMSA. So while we are, of course, all here to celebrate you all and completing this incredible academic achievement, you are RAM for life, please don't forget that. And this begins your journey into the VCU alumni world. Once you all exit these doors, you all are now officially graduates. You've gone through your first commencement ceremony, hopefully not of too many for you all. And to help with this transition, as you all transition into the next area, you're gonna find delicious foods, and the IEP team hopes that you all will stay and break bread with one another, connect with each other's families and each other's networks, because as I heard someone say, you are only as rich as your network earlier, and connect with me as well as your program specialist for the Inclusive Engagement and Philanthropy team. What we are are doing right now, and again, we are doing it, it is active, it is happening, is launching philanthropy initiatives, so opportunities for you all to give as alumni, but we're trying to connect you all by your identity. We ourselves feel that heritage as well as culture is not only something you could not bring into the classroom, but it also is something you're going to carry with you all into the rest of your lives as you continue to not just be a ram, but a ram that has now gone through this ceremony. And so as I finish my remarks and get out of you all's way, congratulations to the class of 2024, and I will say also, I graduated from Christopher Newport University, and I am a current graduate student here at VCU. I only wish I had an OMSA to help graduate me as well. So congrats to you. Thank you.
All right, who's ready to eat? All right, that concludes our ceremony. Graduates, you may exit through these doors to our reception. Congratulations to the class of 2024.